This is Kim Meyer, host of Choose to Rise. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Throughout history, the course of sports has been shaped by one thing, the fans.
From the moments you never dreamed of
to save the USA's life in this World Cup. Paul, the runner, loose ball, it's good! Gonzaga, the flipper still fits.
To the moments that still give you nightmares.
Behind the bag, it gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight and the Mets win it. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl. Brady has his fifth.
Through the good and the bad, fans have helped change the games we watch and the players we love.
They may not be the most logical people.
You are a factory of sadness. I'll see you Sunday.
But they know their teams better than anybody.
They'll blow in the ninth.
You may not always see them, but you know where to find them.
After all, there's nothing quite like the view from the cheap seats.
Broadcasting as part of the Public House Media Network.
Grab a chair and enjoy all there is in
The cheap seats.
Oh, let's get weird on this Monday, September 24th. Christian Imel, John Lauder here with you, way up in the cheap seats, broadcasting as part of the Public House Media Network on Squadcast.fm. Oh man, is weird even a good word to describe this weekend?
It's weird, depressing. It's oh god.
I mean, the Bills
what a
won
mess.
a football game. The Browns won a football game.
Yeah, oh god, so weird.
The Browns won a game. The Bills won a game. Tiger Woods won a tournament. Like, what's going on?
The Giants won a game. I don't get it.
Is this 2008? Like, what's happening?
I don't understand.
I have no idea what's going on anymore. We're going to get into a lot of this coming up here in the cheap seats. Of course, we will touch on everything that's happening in the world of the NFL. We will touch on the just complete and total, I guess, I don't even know what to call it, like the complete and total lack of football ability by the referees. Like, they're not allowing guys to actually play football anymore. I don't understand it. And then, of course, we finally had it, John. I mean, it took us till week 4, but we finally got that shakeup in college football we've been dying for. 5 of the top 25 teams go down over the weekend, including one to a team that didn't exist 10 years ago.
Correct.
That's pretty awesome.
Well, the college existed 10 years ago,
yes,
but not the football.
Yes,
team.
the football did not exist. So here, you know what? The last time, never mind. I'm not gonna. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do it. The last time that Old Dominion did not have a football team, Hofstra had a football team. I'm sorry, I had to bring it up. Our alma mater. I had to bring it up. I apologize.
Way to be there.
Pour one out for the homies. Anyway, let's get into it. We got a lot going on here this week in the cheap seats. Christian Imel, John Lauder here with you. As always, you can subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, thephmedia.com, of course. Wherever you get podcasts, you can find us. Don't forget to check us out on our Facebook page, The Cheap Seats by Public House Media. John, before we get into all this stuff, couple of teams clinching postseason berths over the weekend. You had the Oakland Athletics clinching a wild card spot, not yet exactly. Pardon me there. I messed that one up. The Yankees clinched a wild card spot on a walk-off on Saturday. The Braves clinched the NL East title, which they were not expected to do. In the Athletics, their magic number is still just 1 heading into today.
But most importantly, Jacob deGrom wrapped up the Cy Young. That's all that really matters.
You know, and that's. I'm not against Jacob deGrom. I just don't know how many people will vote for someone on that terrible of a team. And it's compelling to me. And you know what? We didn't even discuss this before we got on the air, but one of our poll options, and I'm just going to kind of go with it because you brought it up, and I want to see what people say. More compelling Cy Young race. Is it in the American League or the National League? Because in the National League, you've got Jacob deGrom. You've got Max Scherzer. You've got the kid in Philadelphia.
Aaron
Nola, yes. But then in the AL, you've got Blake Snell, who's 21-5 with an ERA under 2. And then you've got Chris Sale, who's just been absolutely lights-out dominant, and when he's on, he is the best pitcher in the game this year. Yet, I don't know if his workload is going to be enough to make this. I know we were talking about this last week, but Blake Snell has earned a Cy Young, in my opinion.
No, Blake Snell's going to win it. Blake Snell's going to win it, and I swear, if Jacob deGrom doesn't win the Cy Young, I'll lose my mind. I mean, there's no way that he can't win it. There's no way.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree, and it should be two guys who aren't going to play in the postseason. It should be Blake Snell and Jacob deGrom winning the Cy Young, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm a Red Sox fan, so I don't know where the more compelling race is. I don't even know if they're either compelling right now. I don't know. Is either one of them compelling, or is it just wrapped up in general?
I mean, to me, it's wrapped up in general. I'll tell you what's compelling: how Blake Snell's going to be in a Yankee uniform next season.
No, don't do that. Don't.
But it's going to happen. I'm telling you right now.
Don't do that. Just
don't. It's going to happen. It's going to. I'm just telling you. It's going to happen.
I don't want to think about the offseason yet. I don't want to think about it because there's a legitimate chance that like Bryce Harper and Blake Snell and like Yu Darvish and Clayton Kershaw could all end up in the Bronx. I have no freaking idea.
Well, 2 of those 4, if the Yankees get there, dumb. But
yes.
But yeah, that's possible.
Oh God, I hate the offseason.
Hey, what about Tiger Woods? Let's talk Tiger Woods.
Let's talk about Tiger because you know what? I mean,
he won. He won
a tournament, and not only did he win a tournament, he won the Tour Championship, and he finished second in the FedEx Cup playoffs. Which, if you haven't been following, the FedEx Cup playoffs have been around for almost 10 years now, and it's just amazing to see how Tiger competed the last 3 weeks to get as close as he did to possibly winning the FedEx Cup. I mean, Justin Rose ends up winning it, but for Tiger, I mean, this is huge. He gets his 80th win, and he is that much closer. First win in 5 years, something like 1,800 and something odd days. But this is awesome, especially heading into the Ryder Cup, which I know few people know about it, even care about it. But for Tiger Woods to be playing this well for the Americans at the Ryder Cup this coming weekend, this is just awesome for golf. This really is awesome.
It is, and look, no matter what, whether you're a huge golf fan or you care very little about golf, Tiger Woods is the compelling story. I'm sorry. It's not Rory McIlroy. It's not Jordan Spieth. It's not these other guys. They're not Tiger Woods. They never will be Tiger Woods.
Right.
He's a once-in-a-generation, lifetime, century, whatever you want to say, kind of athlete. And I give credit to who said it on Twitter, but of course I completely forget now. I think it was Gene Wojciechowski from ESPN, but they were talking about how, we love our athletes sort of in 3-act plays. And that's what Tiger Woods is. This is the 3rd act of his career, all the way at the top, all the way at the bottom, and now trying to sort of, climb his way back. And it's incredibly compelling. And, look, I mean, will he win another major? Nobody knows, but he's really been playing well.
Here's the important part to note. It's been 1,876 days since his last win on the PGA Tour. He now has 80 wins in his career all time. There's only one golfer to have more than 80 wins, and that guy is slamming Sammy Snead with 82. He is 2 wins away from tying for the most all time. Not to mention he's 3 majors away from tying Jack all time. He's continuing this narrative of the greatest ever. And it's just impressive to see him do it at 42 years old with 4 back surgeries. John, he was ranked 1,199th in the world at the end of 2017, and I believe now with this win, he's jumped up into the top 25.
Yeah, he's 11th.
Yeah, top 50. That's unbelievable. Going into next year, if he can keep this focus, if he can keep this drive going, golf is going to be in a phenomenal position in 2019.
Now, in my opinion, he's already the greatest golfer ever. No offense to Jack Nicklaus, because what he did for that 10-year stretch can't be duplicated by anyone. Mm-hmm. But, if he can keep winning, it's only going to add to that legacy. So very impressive that he was able to win this tournament. Because, look, after those back surgeries, nobody knew. Nobody knew where he was going to be. And, his comeback has been impressive, to say the least.
Yep. I mean, and listen, my father will say that Bobby Jones was the greatest of all time because he won the Grand Slam as an amateur, which, I mean, that's fine. But, Bobby Jones played before, World War II. So we're not even gonna talk about it. But, like, Tiger is, again, if you're not a golf fan, I really do apologize. But I love seeing golf is at its best, much like baseball is at its best, when the Red Sox and Yankees are good. The NFL is at its best when the Cowboys and the Packers and the Patriots are good. Hockey is at its best when the Rangers and, basketball needs LeBron, golf needs Tiger. And Tiger
100%.
is here, and it's amazing to see it. There's a great article on golfchannel.com earlier this year. I forget who wrote it. I was actually just literally looking at it yesterday about comparing Tiger to the Tiger of old, saying that is really the only competition that you can possibly measure Tiger against. It's Rex Hogard wrote it back in May, and it's just amazing to see the similarities of Tiger now and Tiger in 2006, 2013, even 2000, when he was the greatest athlete on the planet at the time.
You're in the Cheap Seats here on the Public House Media Network, presented by Squadcast.fm. John Lauder, Christian Heimel with you. We move from Tiger Woods to the NBA. The NBA is weird, man. It's just weird. Jimmy Butler is, bitching left and right, and he wants out now, so that Minnesota's got to trade him. And everybody was so excited when Butler came there because of Tom Thibodeau and bring all the old Bulls together, blah, 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 blah. But now, they've decided that they don't want Butler because they want Wiggins, who's perpetually underperformed his entire career, and Karl Anthony Towns, who has the maturity level of my toddler. So, look,
You got a lot
Jimmy
more
Butler
money than your toddler, though.
Well, yes, that is true. Jimmy Butler's one of the top 20 players in the league. You don't let those guys go. But again, the players run the asylum. They run the league, and there's nothing that anyone can do about it, apparently.
I don't understand this. And I'm sorry. I don't. This is the part that bothers me. This is what I don't get. I could care less that everybody wants to team up and go win a championship in Golden State or L.A. or Miami or Boston, wherever the hell you feel like playing. I don't care about that. What I do care about is the fact that just because you're in a situation you don't like, you're going to whine and complain about it and demand a trade instead of manning up and actually playing. I don't get that. I don't understand why Kawhi Leonard can't man up and play for one of the greatest coaches of all time in Greg Popovich, with one of the greatest franchises of all time in the San Antonio Spurs. I don't understand why Jimmy Butler can't suck it up and deal with it and figure out how to play with. I understand that they underperform, but they are still quality talents there in Minnesota, and you've got a coach who molded you when he was in Chicago. Why you can't do that? And you said you got to sit and whine and complain and demand a trade, or say that you're going to opt out, or you're going to become a free agent and go sign where you want. This isn't baseball where there's no salary cap. You can't do that in the NBA. You're going to eventually have to get your ego checked by either taking a severe pay cut or playing on a terrible team, because those are your only options.
And they just gave Karl Anthony Towns a max contract. Andrew Wiggins has a huge contract. Look, Jimmy Butler wanted to be with Tom Thibodeau, but he just doesn't want to deal with these immature guys. Jimmy Butler did not have it the way Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns did. He was not a number one pick.
Right.
He fought his whole career to get where he is now, and he doesn't want to deal with them. So now apparently, he may go to the Clippers, and then there's rumors that Kawhi Leonard will go to the Clippers, so they'll both bypass playing with LeBron. Again, the players run the league, and there's so much, back channel stuff going on.
Is there a way for players to be sued for tampering? They can do it to GMs and coaches, but seriously,
no.
How can they?
Apparently not.
Apparently, if Jimmy Butler and Kawhi Leonard are seriously talking right now about going and playing for the LA Clippers next year, that's tampering. They should be suspended for a year.
Yeah, well, there's nothing that can be done about it. Apparently,
the NBA, and don't get me wrong, the NBA does the best job of any of the four leagues of marketing its players. They do a phenomenal job, and it's not even close. Adam Silver is a very progressive commissioner, and I give him a lot of credit for continuing this great trend that the NBA has been on, from a viewings, from a ratings, from a dollars standpoint. But it gets beyond ridiculous from a business standpoint when the players are the GMs. And don't get me wrong, I'm not putting all the blame here on Jimmy Butler. The Minnesota owner, Mr. Layden, I'm trying to remember his name.
Scott Layden's the GM.
Scott Layden, yeah. I'm sorry, and I don't want to put my foot in my own mouth here, given my career, but sign your check. You're an owner. Let the basketball people handle basketball business. You're the owner. Sign the check. Smile for the camera. That simple. I've never understood this in any sport. I don't understand Jerry Jones. You're not a football person. I get it. You want to have your name on a building. Congratulations. But let football people handle football business. Same with Al Davis. That's why the Raiders were terrible for so long. That's just me, though.
Can't argue with you. All right, you're in the cheap seats here on the Public House Media Network. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, college football bananas, Bananas, this week. So we'll talk about that. We'll ask why I'm talking about fruit and spelling stuff. So we'll get to some college football when we come back. You are in the cheap seats here on the Public House Media Network, and we, of course, are presented by Squadcast.fm.
I'm the Greg.
And I am Dave Show.
We host the Greg and Dave Show on Public House Media.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out our show, The Greg and Dave Show, where we talk about strange, bizarre, and sometimes just downright quirky news stories that you may not have heard about.
A new show comes out every Wednesday. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes. And hey, thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Daniel Poppy, host of How to Write Good here on Public House Media. I just want to thank you for listening to the following broadcast brought to you by Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope that you'll come check out my show, How to Write Good, the writing show that is not about writing. A new show of How to Write Good comes out every Wednesday, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of How to Write Good. Again, thanks for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
I mean, look, if Gwen Stefani sang it, it must be true. And college football this past week was Bananas. It was bananas. It was crazy. Notre Dame looked like that in offense, and that's clearly not true.
Oh, my God, Ian Book.
Yes, stop it. Wake Forest is like a high school team. Yeah, all right. Just you wait till Stanford smacks you in the face. Virginia Tech lost. Yeah, and actually, Virginia Tech's lost so bad for Notre Dame because
oh my God, terrible for Notre
that
Dame.
win would have been critical for them, and now they just lost to like basically a high school team in Old Dominion. So, oh my God, stop it! That Old Dominion team was 0-3. They were terrible.
I understand, but like they were getting trounced on ESPN yesterday. Like ODU was getting wrecked even after they already beat Virginia Tech.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so the week started out pretty normal. On Friday, Penn State beat Illinois by about 100 points.
Yep.
UCF beat the Lane Kiffins. No big deal. Yep. And then the number 1, 2, and 3 teams in the country, no problem. And Ohio State. So there you go. Yep. Dwayne Haskins and Tua are going to share the Heisman.
Has that ever
really
happened before?
No, but it's going to happen this year.
It might.
And then you get to Oklahoma, who should have lost to Army, who's barely an actual football team.
How
so what's
great
going on there?
Was that? How awesome was that? By the way, for those of you who have never watched Army football, that's what it is. That is Army football. Yep. I've been watching that team and that style for 28 years. This is Army football. It's ball control. It's a ground game. It's 9-minute drives and a touchdown that just demoralize your defense and gives you zero opportunity to actually score. That being said, there is no way Oklahoma should have ever allowed Army to have a 9-minute drive. No way possible. Kyler Murray looked awful. He never had a chance, but that defense was so good for Army. And on the road, too, it was unbelievable. I was literally on, it was so close to being the biggest victory for the Army since Normandy. That's how big it was.
It was huge. And even though Murray wasn't great, he was still 11 for 15 for 165 yards, 3 touchdowns, and also had 71 yards on the ground and a score. So even in a bad game, he had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. But, oh, my God, man, that was just unbelievable to look at. Unbelievable to watch.
Possibly the game of the weekend, Stanford and Oregon. So great. Yeah. Everybody's talking about Justin Herbert, and he looks like he's going to be really good. But KJ Costello is a great quarterback in his own right. 327 yards, 3 touchdowns. Bryce Love has been kind of this season, but it doesn't matter. Stanford's 4-0. Mm-hmm. They are going to smack the poop out of Notre Dame next week, and I got news for you.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be – but I tell you, I do. I mean, watching highlights, I love KJ Costello. He looked phenomenal leading that team back. They were down what was it, 24-7?
Yes.
In the third quarter, I think